Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we celebrate and discuss the film Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Jerry Porter.
And back with us again today is Steve Kreuch. Welcome back.
Happy to be back.
Hey, Steve.
Hello.
Handshakes all around. Welcome. We're here to discuss minute 42. And minute 42 begins with Indy hating baskets. And it ends with Marion Ravenwood dying in a truck explosion. I can't believe it. It's just like Janet Leigh in Psycho all over again. This is terrible.
Well, the first thing about this minute that I noticed is, Indy has absolutely beautiful eyes.
He does.
They're like an incredible emerald green shade. And I don't know if he had that in... I didn't notice it in Star Wars.
Or in American Graffiti.
That. Yeah.
Or Force 10 from Navarone.
Or Hanover Street.
Well, it's like when you're having a dream and you're way more handsome in your dream.
Yeah, sure is. Speaking of Carbonite, this doesn't count at all because we're jumping movies. But right at the end of this awesome eye close-up, when he's kind of like he's pulling back, and then you see him more fully, and he's about to go berserk on all the baskets. His profile, for some reason, he looks, out of all his characters, he looks just like Rick Deckard from Blade Runner to me.
Well, that's poignant when you think of all these eye close-ups.
That's true.
Wasn't that the test they had to
yeah.
do?
So you're running through Cairo, and you're trying to find a woman in a basket, and there's a turtle on the ground, and he's on his back. What do you do? What's a turtle?
Well,
Now I'm going to get letters. It's what's a tortoise. I know everybody. It's okay. It's what's a tortoise.
So here's my question. If I were to go back to Egypt in 1936, would these baskets be all over the place? Were they like that ubiquitous? When he starts running around knocking them over, it seems like everyone has one of these friggin' baskets.
Well, we were saying that about pots and pans in the last week, so maybe it's just like a general housewares convention going on in Cairo this week.
It's clearly a pots and pans economy, as was stated last week.
Yeah. And maybe they trade the pots and pans for beautiful baskets.
Like hats in Nepal.
Yeah.
But the neighborhoods are very segregated, I guess, in what they sell, because some neighborhoods it's pots and pans, and in some neighborhoods it's baskets.
Oh, it's the basket district.
Yeah.
There's a Dr. Seuss book in here somewhere. The baskets and the pans and the... Yeah. I'm not going to write it right now, but it's there. But yeah, Indy goes berserk, knocking over baskets.
Well, even before that happened.
Oh, sure.
I think, we ended last minute with such a virtuosic camera shot of Indy running into the camera and just focusing on his eyes. But at the beginning of this, I think Spielberg builds so much suspense because the camera's just looking into his eyes. And as a viewer, you're just like, what's he looking at? What's he looking at? And he holds it for a while.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic because you become more tense trying to figure out what's bothering him.
Yeah.
And it's a great look of concern on his face too. And and before you even see the whole market with baskets, he starts panning his head around like, oh my God.
Now what? Yeah. And it is awesome. Yeah, like we were saying that for him to hit that mark perfectly where his eyes are still in focus after running down that thing, and then you find out here that it's part of a much larger shot, that it's not just the kind of gag of like getting his eyes just right. It's getting his eyes right and then pulling back into this other huge choreographed shot. That's pretty impressive. These guys knew what they were doing. I think they're going to go far.
Well, and they pulled off a really kind of complicated shot in between bathroom breaks.
That's right. My guts are telling me I have 30 seconds to get this shot.
Yeah, we're going to get one take.
Well, that could easily be just why he looks so concerned. Maybe it has nothing to do with the.
I'm not gonna make it.
He's looking for the toilet basket.
Yeah,
really.
all the porta potties are knocked over. What am I gonna do? This is awful. Oh, there is a scratch on his nose. Somebody mentioned that between. Yeah. He's got
I will say there's one thing after this. He disrupts all the baskets and goes bananas and all that. It's maybe the only time I see Harrison Ford. It's like clumsily acted. He has that snarl on his face afterwards, and I'm kind of like, "Aw, not you, Harrison. You're so good normally." Like he did all these, remember the bar scene where he grabs at his guts? It's incredible, and it's so well done.
Yeah.
And he kind of has this snarl that's just like, basically right out of Scooby-Doo.
Really? I don't know if I remember being annoyed by a snarl but I believe you.
Well, I think it's kind of, he knocks all these baskets over and there's like this general dull roar from everyone being all upset. And yet Marion's shrill voice can still carry over it.
Oh, and speaking of Marion, he's knocking over all these baskets. Isn't there an excellent chance that she's going to get killed by getting a concussion, getting knocked out of a basket onto the concrete or whatever, the flagstones? Go easy, Indy.
Well, this also.
And should he also only be knocking over the baskets of the guys with the black headbands on? Like the black headscarves?
Yeah, maybe. Again, he's freaking out.
I think he's really anxious. I don't think he's gotten over that whole cart, incident where he's like, I put Marion right here. She's right here. And this should be a piece of cake. I had the whole thing figured out. And so he's just like, I'm going to hit every basket and knock over everything. And I identify with that. That's all I'm saying. It's like you get a little upset, anxious, and why, and then you just sort of increase your pandemonium rather than taking a minute and suddenly being like, all right, look.
I'm glad to hear you admit that.
yeah, totally. And you're like, the alleyways aren't that big. They can't go too many places here. When you really look, he knocks over like 6 baskets. You're like, okay, you know what I mean? But he just goes crazy because it's really just his head is scrambled.
Yeah.
That, by the way, that right there is why I like him better than Han Solo.
Yeah, fair enough.
He has like panic attacks.
Han Solo doesn't seem to freak out he has to go into Fonzie mode and punch the Falcon to get it going, and his ship doesn't work right, but he never really flips out over it, does he? Not that Indy's flipping out, but he's. I
know. I mean, it's not a panic. Yeah. He still has a grace. It's just he's messy.
Yeah.
He's chaotic.
He's scrambling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a nice Doppler effect that comes up right here too. Sort of when Marion yells when they're going through the alley.
Oh yeah.
She goes, Indy.
That was very nicely done.
That's got to go on the website.
And again, he runs by these guys.
Free ringtones.
Selling, more pot or more pans.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah. It's just those guys running down the street,
yeah.
carrying a yelling American woman.
Another gunfight's going on.
Yelling about the American Midwest.
Right.
There's another scene that reminds me of a video game, like a background of Street Fighter or something. Like there are a bunch of guys kind of waving their fists gently, kind of.
Yeah, it's that same acting, that same extras acting. I'm excited or angry about something. I'm either glad. I don't know. I'm emoting something. The machine gun. Are we at the machine gun yet, or are we at the guys with the truck?
Sure.
Yeah.
So that machine gun guy is a terrible shot.
This shot is very, very A-Team. I remember watching like a season of the A-Team and realizing I don't think one person has been shot on this entire show. They always just shoot at the ground and then people run for cover.
See, I'm going to go same thing. I understand that guy because the shot before, he's completely poised, and it's clearly somebody said to him, all right, look, he's going to come around the corner. You got this. Just sit there. It's all good. You got your gun. It's loaded. It's cocked. We're going to put her in the back of the truck. And then he's like, all right. I go, there he is. And he blows the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah.
Well, the gun is probably poorly calibrated or something, and he just want to test it out first to clue in Indy coming down the alley. So he just has to try it out live, and it doesn't work out. And I feel terrible for him. I badly
again,
wanted him to kill Indy.
In
That's
that
not true.
alleyway are a bunch of guys just sitting there, just passively watching it happen.
Yeah, and then when they see that the guy's in a gunfight, they're like, "Hey, spare a dime?" And they're like, "I'm about to get shot, and you guys are going to get shot too. Get out of here."
Right. This is the second time that Indy has blatantly had a gun,
Yeah.
and people have just come up to him, not fearing that here's a dude holding a gun.
Right.
Well, see, I wasn't sure if those were guys begging for money, if those were the guys whose baskets he knocked over. And they're like, hey, could I have my money? But they're just gentle about it. They're just
Hey,
like,
you owe me something for my
They had
laundry.
just heard machine gun fire.
Yeah.
Well, I wondered that whole. I'm like, what is the point of this scene? Like, again, you're writing it, and you're like, so Indy, okay, they get, Indy's hiding behind the wall, and then I know, let's have 4 like locals, but maybe beggars. Yeah,
Yeah.
beggars. That would be good. Let's have the beggars come up and kind of harass them a little bit or something. And
I
this,
guess it like ups the tension just a little bit. Like he's trying to concentrate. These guys are going to come around the corner. He wants to be ready for him, and these guys are panhandling on him and stuff. And
Well, and I think they are the guys who supposed to be the guys whose baskets he knocked over. Like,
Oh, really?
looking for some, looking for some recompense.
some quarters for the laundry machine because they have to redo their laundry.
which he throws out, like he gives it to him.
He does.
wait,
Yeah.
that's like a dog toy.
He
Throws
does.
it down
Who
the
wants a
alley.
quarter? Go get the quarter.
I used to do that with my dog to throw biscuits all over this, so it wouldn't chase the school bus.
Right. And so you could get a clear shot at the guys in the truck.
Right.
The one guy has like a really, really bad scar on his left cheek.
He's a bad guy. Oh no! Oh, you mean
Oh,
the
no.
beggars? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no, you're
one of
right.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you can see the extras casting guy going, you, like picking him out of the lineup. You come here, put this turban on. You're good.
But also, right before those guys come up, they're loading the basket into the back of this truck that is just full of explosives and noted high explosives and ammunition and
Yeah.
guns. I mean, and they're just loaded so haphazardly.
Right.
In a place that's so hot. I mean,
Yeah.
OSHA would be so pissed.
Well,
not-
again, it's like we're gonna put what the story is. So we're gonna put Marion in the back of this explosives truck because that's all that we had at the moment.
Okay, but let me stop you
But-
there. These guys know that they don't have Marion in a basket. I don't want to spoil the movie
What?
for anybody who's just seeing this minute by minute. But I mean, we got to kind of have to talk about this. I mean, they know, and we know, and 1,000 years after the movie was made, that that's like a decoy. I still don't fully understand this whole basket business.
So I think I have it, actually.
Okay.
Okay, but
Please
do.
before, yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
So
I was gonna say, look, one of my favorite shots. It happens 1 second, I think, before this.
okay.
Indy comes out, and he's pointing the gun at the truck, and he's next to him, like on his left, is a beautiful array of pastries.
Oh yeah, those those buns and rolls and bread.
and
yeah.
it's a really it's a fascinating shot.
right. What were you gonna say, Steve, about the basket?
So-
'Cause I got
Sorry.
So no, so the machine gun guy, you see them load the basket in, right?
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Indy, and just as the first hands come from the guys begging for money, if you watch the truck, you can see 2 figures. One looks like they're wearing all it could be a woman, exiting stage left.
Get out of here.
So
Right,
I think they threw the basket back there, grabbed her, and then made her leave. And that's why she's not there. You see 2 figures go that way. And I never noticed it until, watching it for this.
Yeah.
But because all your attention is on Indy, but if you watch that, you see 2 figures go away.
Crazy.
Wait, I straight up want to stop the podcast. I want to look at this because this is huge.
I'm kind of
This
looking
is
right now.
huge.
Well, I do see 2 figures
One,
running
Two.
behind the
The
thing.
second one, I think, is
You're
Marion.
exactly right.
She doesn't seem to be encumbered though. She doesn't seem like anybody's like leading her away or anything.
But it
Like-
could be gun.
All she
Or
saw was high explosives.
yeah, she's
Wait,
trying to get away from
wait,
a truck
where
full of high
is it?
explosives.
Second, like 39, between 39 and 40, or second 38 and 39.
Oh, you mean you see like two guys kind of run away from the truck.
Yeah,
From behind the truck. I think
Yeah.
that's them
Or
getting
one
her
guy.
out of the basket.
that could be.
Because it's the only other time that it could have happened.
That makes, even if it doesn't look exactly like it could be her, it makes a ton more sense than they're taking this decoy basket and with care and putting it in the truck and stuff and taking it to that level. Like, it just seems weird. But I don't know.
I don't know.
The whole
I mean,
movie's
that's
not
just-
totally logical.
No.
No, but yeah.
But it's still, I mean,
makes
but
you
we
feel a
still,
little better.
as the plot point, like what they give you as the audience, you're still thinking it,
Oh, yeah.
it still doesn't really add up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't add up. I never understood this. I'm like, not like, well, how is Marion not dead?
Well,
Yeah.
that's how I never
Yeah.
understood it either. And so then when I was watching this, like I always paid attention to Indy. And as I was watching for this, I was like, well, let me try to pay attention to other parts of the screen. And that's where
Yeah.
I saw that. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, see, yeah, I always just assumed that it was an empty basket already, that they had gotten, they had faked him out and had an empty basket that they wanted him to think was Marion. But then
That's a lot of plotting on their part.
it really
on the
is.
fly.
For what seems like they didn't know that she was going to be in a basket. Like when they started this whole Megillah, they were just going to get him. It was part of the get him protocol.
She could have still been in the back of that wagon.
Yeah. Then what are they going to do?
I think they kind of shimmy shammed over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, it's a movie. What are you going to do?
because you're like, I can't believe Marion's dead.
Yeah.
Well, also like the machine gunner, where did his gun go? When Indy shoots him, he doesn't have it anymore, but he had it like half a second before.
Oh, that guy, the anxiety got to him.
Yeah.
Wait,
Maybe-
isn't he on the side of the truck? Is
But
that
he
the
no
guy?
longer has the gun.
Maybe he tossed it in. Oh wait, no, but he has it as he's
He
riding on the truck, and then yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe he tossed it inside. But what I want to know is that guy looks pre-bloody before he gets shot. Like as Indy's shooting at him, he's already got a bunch of red on him. Like this is take 2 or something.
This is
What
an
a shoddy
amazing,
production.
violent scene too.
It is. It is without being like super crazy. Like, I've got a 9-year-old son. I'm trying to think of like, okay, when am I going to show him Raiders? Because I have to show him Raiders, and I'm like,
I saw it when
I'm
I was
not-
9.
yeah, I saw it when I was 10.
Yeah, I was 8, but like I
Freaked
don't
me
remember.
out.
You know,
there's-
the guy's head off.
Yeah, I just noticed that watching it this time. He
Yeah.
actually has a one-shot, pop where he shoots the driver in the head. And
Yeah.
what always creeped me out is the next scene. You see the guy reaching down to his foot, and his hand is bloodied.
Yeah.
And I always was like, I know that feeling. You got something under the car pedal, and you need to move it.
But he never will, Jerry.
Yeah,
He'll
and
never
you're like-
move it.
And I'm like, oh, that's just a way to show you subtly that he's slumped over dead.
Right. Yeah.
And it is. It's darker than in a way than it needs to be. It's a little bit more violent and darker
It's
than
pretty
it
dark.
needs to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a problem I have though is, so he shoots them and they're in this tight alleyway that looks like it dead ends, pretty close to where Indy is.
Yeah, and that bread.
And then all of a sudden it flips over and it's in like this wide plaza where
Yeah.
it blows up. It's
Yeah.
like it teleported somewhere else.
That's how Escher paintings work.
That's no. I had the same. It's the same thing I noticed. Where is everybody?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like straight up, where is everybody? It wasn't at the beginning of this minute. It was nothing but an ocean of baskets and people and upset, and then beggars are following them around, like laundromat guys are following them around, and they're like, "Where's it?" And then there's no one at the end of the minute.
Yeah.
Well, and when it blows up, I mean, that's a lot of explosives. The fact that he is not taken out by shrapnel or
Yeah.
Yeah.
bullets or something is kind of an Indy miracle.
Tom Selleck would have bought it. No, he wouldn't have. Come on.
No, Nick Nolte would have bought it. Or Steve Martin.
Just to show. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you see when the truck actually does overturn from the bad driving? Does anybody see the pole?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the 30s when trucks had those telephone poles that would come out.
Yeah.
That was a safety feature.
Yeah. It was made sure everybody got killed. Yeah, they. I remember like in the. I reference this all the time. Like in the making of stuff that would be on TV. There were two. There was like the making of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and there was another one that was strictly about the stunts. I think it was the stunt one. They talk about how they show it. They're like, yeah, it was literally like a telephone pole that they greased up and stuck in there, and an explosion goes off and knocks. That's what knocks the truck over, and they show like a disagreement between the stunt coordinator and Spielberg. And the guy's saying, I'm sorry, it didn't work. I mean, you can see the telephone pole shoot out. It looks terrible. And Spielberg's like, nah, it's good. And like the narrator's like, in the end, the director was correct. And the shot is, I'm like, you can totally see the telephone pole.
Well,
it doesn't look that good.
The reason the guy was saying it didn't work was the telephone pole was supposed to flip the truck totally upside down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was supposed to flip it on its back. And it only just kind of, made it lurch about and fall on its side.
Wow.
But if it was totally on its back, you would totally see the totem pole.
Yeah,
or
unless
the
that
pole.
would be what makes the thing go back inside and then you don't see it.
Right.
But then I don't know.
It's a great, I guess in this way, spontaneous or serendipitous kind of mistake because it sort of hangs on two wheels for a little bit Dukes of Hazzard style. And you're like, and you're kind of like, oh my gosh. And it makes a great noise. And then
It does look great. It looks like, they're in trouble. Oh my gosh, they exploded. It's actually really cool that way.
Well, it's also, and Tom, you mentioned earlier the A-Team. That's the classic A-Team rollover.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can even see one of the things of explosives fall out the back.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I used to think that was Marion, actually, because it's red.
Oh.
That's grisly.
Like when I was young. Well, I thought that was how she escaped. I was like, oh, that's her falling out.
She just scrambled away just before the explosion.
It's her Space Invaders shirt.
That's what saved her.
I also, I don't know. I don't know how much you guys have talked. Well, I love the bullet sounds in this movie.
Oh, I was gonna say that, yeah, because we did bring that. These sound like some of the ones in the bar fight. There's that kind of like squishy, kind of wet, kind of squeaky bullet shots. Yeah.
Is it Ben Burt who did it?
Yeah,
It is.
our hero.
The man who made me want to do Foley.
See, I would say he's the unsung wizard, but he's people know him and love him, and he's
pretty well sung.
Yeah, he's pretty goodly sung.
I think one theme that's been coming up over and over is that every guy who was making this movie was sort of at the top of his game in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Burt is a great example of that.
Yeah. And I wonder if this is the sort of thing where it's like, makeup people say it's tougher to do like people makeup than like alien or monster makeup because it looks like, I wonder if the sound work on this was harder in a way than Star Wars because people know what trucks sound like and they know what guns sound like. And, if you had to be creative and realistic at the same time or something. We'll ask him when we have him on the show. Get on that. Somebody get Ben Burt on the phone. Well, does anybody have anything else for minute 42?
No, I'm
Not
good.
me.
All right.
I'm good.
Well, let's call it there. We're in mid-explosion. Maybe Marion will pop out of the sky on a parachute. She'll be fine. But in the meantime, Pete, where can people get in touch with us to let us know that telephone poles were standard equipment on 30s trucks?
Well, if you haven't joined the conversation yet, come check out our Facebook page, Indiana Jones Minute, and check us out at indianajonesminute.com.
And come back here tomorrow for minute 43. Steve, are you coming back too?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And we'll discuss minute 43 of Raiders of the Lost Ark here on the Indiana Jones Minute. Indy!
Jesus.